Still fixing the broken EREVO. Oh, this thing is no joke. I just received my parts and the rear bulk is all cracked up. Here's the parts that I showed you in my previous video, so check that out. And it comes with the front bulk, rear bulk, top, bottom. So this is the front, this is the rear. It has greasing on it. Wow. Thank you for putting a little bit of grease on it. Anyways, comes with 4 pieces. I'm gonna put these pieces away, but I'm gonna record a little bit of the work I'm doing. So this thing is no joke. I worked on it probably 40 minutes replacing, taking everything apart. And I'm gonna show you the shaft and everything that I have in there. Cause my first broke was the shaft. Anyways, let's put these pieces back. Whoop, 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 whoop. And we're gonna put some marine grease, a lot of it. We're gonna pack it up like a battery. All right, so let's look into this guy. Okay, looking into this guy doesn't look so much fun, but it's a tough repair. Let's take off the rear diff. I'm gonna just leave it in here so I don't put no dirt, debris on it. It's nice and clean still, and I'm gonna put that away. I got a couple of pieces. The back cover over here, however that goes, is out. And I did put some of my screws back because I don't want to lose the direction where they belong. This thing goes into the servo right here, servo saver. So you do not want to lose this, and you do not want to mess that up. So here's our dry propeller shaft. This is integrity. I did replace this. This is my first break. I'm gonna put that to the side. Now we need to open up the rest of this, okay? So I did put 2 of the screws back over here, but this rear axles and everything has to come out, guys, everything. I like doing repairs like this, but it's just tough to record. Anyways, let's go further. I'm gonna flip it over, see what I need to take off. Probably the whole wheelie bar, the rear suspension and everything is gonna be dismantled. There you go. It's in 2 pieces. Oh my God, I just noticed that's a disaster now. Even the frame broke off. The rear EREVO, the whole chassis, I just noticed in there. So we're gonna have to pause this video more further. Yeah, I don't know how that could have broken. Doesn't look good, but it's all right. So we'll just wait for the rear chassis. This gray piece here, this whole piece. So pretty much we're gonna be disassembling the whole EREVO here. So the new piece is ordered, but we're gonna start dismantling this whole thing. Let's take off this rear brace. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off this bolt here, this one here, and one back there, and one over here. That should just take off this whole brace right here. Okay, so I took off all the bolts, and this rear brace has 2 right in the center here. So whenever you're taking something like this out, you don't want it. Let me pull. I forgot to put on my light. What am I thinking? You don't want to miss the order of the bolts. So these 2 longs, they go right through the shock. What I like to do is just put them back together. Just like that. Okay, this the one that looks weird, like a round-headed, it goes in the back. And then we got one here. And then we got one over here. And then one over here. So that's all set. Put this away just like that. Let me put my camera a little bit back. So to take this whole thing and put it away. And as you can see, the whole rear end just separated from the whole EREVO itself. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna take everything off this onto the new BulkHead. So what we're gonna do is first we're gonna get our the rear 2 BulkHeads, and we're gonna pack them together. Everything's gonna be packed together. Okay, so we got one here, and then we got another one here. This sits just like that, and bam, it goes in just like that. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go get the rear diff. Here's our rear diff. This goes in just like that. I'm gonna go get a whole bunch of greasing, and we'll put some grease on this. So there's my greasing. So just pack this guy with greasing. Doesn't have to be crazy. Just put chunk on it, then it will find its way where it belongs. Okay, so I'm gonna just like that, I'm gonna pack it up. All right, so next, make sure you inspect your bearings on the input gear, the pinion gear. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna simply just place this guy. Make sure you line your bearings. It's very important the bearings sit on their proper spot, and then the shaft will turn just like that. Okay, and let's take our BulkHead here, and we got a working diff. I do have screws for all this, so I'm gonna bring them and lock everything up. So here's the 4 screws. They all look the same. I usually keep my stuff in order, and I don't want to go crazy because it's plastic. Just enough so it snugs. I think my tool is not the correct size. It spins, so I'm gonna go get a proper tool. There goes nothing with the new set of Allen key. There you go. Perfect. And the diff should be moving freely and easily. Feels really nice. Feels real nice. Perfect. Working diff we got. Next, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just start taking stuff apart from the rear wing here, and hopefully everything just drops. Just try to keep your bolts in order, because if you do mess up the order, forget about it. You will never know which bolt goes where. It will be really tough for you to find out. So as you go along, just make sure you keep your bolts in order. Sometimes they're longer, shorter. You don't want to put the longer one in the shorter spot and the shorter one in the longer spot. So let's see what we're looking at here. So there's 2 more bolts right there, and let's see if we see a bolt from down below here. I don't see anything down here. Yep, I do not see anything down here. So we do have 2 bolts in there, so I'm gonna take this apart and we'll continue. Okay, so what we have is the 3 bolts you saw me take off. Once they come off, this whole thing just slides right back. This is the broken piece right there. Bada bing, bada boom. So this whole rear end can stay just like that. Just like that. And just don't forget the 3 bolts we took off. 1, 2. Well, I would suggest what we're gonna do is let's take this and we put 3 bolts and we leave this whole piece just like that. It's not gonna bother us because we still gotta wait probably a week to get the new piece. It's gonna come in the mail. Local shop did not have it, so we ordered it online. So that thing stays like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna leave that, the rear wing, the wheelie bar with 3 bolts just like that. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take off this little guy right here. And this little guy right here. Alright, so we simply just took off the 2 bolts that hold this little dog bone looking into the real bulk. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna slip out these pins, both of them. Whoa, look at that, everything just went apart. So I guess that was the main thing right there. So this guy comes off as well. I got the 2 bolts, one fell down there. So the real bulk is out of here. So let's bring this guy in. So what we're gonna do is let's simply just slide. Remember, if you take off your wheels, things will be much easier. So let's take this little guy We're gonna put the control arm in first. Come on, little guy, go in. There you go. All right, boys and girls, there you have it. Let's sum it up. So the rear bulk here is all done. This set, let's flip it over. So you do need to insert the axle. So make sure you insert the axles as you slide the pins. So the bottom one has long pins. The top one has 1, 2, 3, 4 pins. Actually, this is the bottom instead of the other one. And the drive shaft is in. All right. The shocks, the towers are in, and this is gonna slip in. Well, if I take this just like that, flip it over, it will slip in just like that. And this goes in the back to this little plating here, and I got the rest of the pieces down here. But anyways, part 2 we will continue once I receive the piece, and after that we're gonna dismantle everything, put it onto the new chassis. So stay tuned.